Hello? Oh, can you come back later, please? Thanks.
What'd she look like? I am ready for some sexual harassment on the job, sir. I say, sir. Where are the whores we ordered, sir?
So wait, where were we?
We were about to order some whores. Me and Kevin Allison are going to three-hole this whore. I know you don't like women, but you know, you'll three-hole one with the King Spo-it, won't you? I'll give you a reach around, too, as long as you don't enjoy it. Right, I'm ready. Let's go. Like, while I'm playing. And it will, most guitars will make you deaf if you listen to it, but this guitar will make you deaf and blind. And it's one time we were playing, opening for DRI and Acid Bath, and my buddy...
So now, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about when you were a kid. When you were a kid, did you have friends who started to get into the Sex Pistols and stuff like that?
No. I lived in Sea Pines and Hilton Head. Nobody. I was in well, first of all, it hadn't happened yet. I'm into prog rock, and I am so antisocial, I won't speak to anybody. And I'm a year behind, I mean, a year younger than everybody because I'm smarter than everyone else. And they put me ahead. And I mean, I started reading at 3. I taught myself calculus at 15 from the book so I could play with the radiation experiments. I'm talking about my physics teacher said, I want to do the radiation. No, Scott, you can't do that. Why not? I want to do some radiation. Because you have to understand calculus to understand it, Scott. And you don't understand calculus. I don't understand calculus. 4 days later, I could do the calculus for radiation. I didn't write the whole thing. I just went to the part I was interested in, and I learned it. And then in 4 days, I came back to Andre Dodgenay, who was the best physics professor ever. I thought I was going to go into physics. I got 100 on his exams. The only person ever to do that, 100 on his final exams. I did it twice in my senior year. The fuck-off year, you don't have to do anything. You know, you're already accepted in school. Thing about me, I don't do anything I don't want to do. I say nothing. Nothing. I don't know, how many people can I fuck off on this podcast? Can I fuck off like big corporations, like music corporations? All right. I'll tell you what, let's not use names. 93. Spo-its is our second CBGB show, lots of buzz around us. All the A&R guys are out. And they all want to come see us because they think we're the next Butthole Surfers or Marilyn Manson or whatever. And I get called in this office in New York. I won't say what. And the guy... Now, what they don't know about me is I'm older. It's 93, that makes me 32 years old. So I'm not a kid. All right, I look like a kid. Do I look like I'm 51? Mm-mm. And you looking mighty well, because I don't know how old you are. Maybe you don't tell anybody.
43. So
we look like we're the same age, but we're not. Mm-hmm. My classmates look like Methuselah in my college. Yeah. And I bet yours do too. You look like a really great 41, you know. And just take care of myself, and you know, I got the gut, you know. I think it's probably not losing all the weight. That, you know, I just live the way you're supposed to, and you're supposed to get a little gut when you get older. Yeah. And I got my knees gone. I got all these tough guy injuries, football injuries. You know, my dad wouldn't let me quit football. I was there 2 weeks. I didn't want to play ever again. Talk about violence. I don't like it. There's rednecks yelling at me. I hate it when rednecks yell at me. Every one of those coaches had a Vince Lombardi, like, if I ever go to Vince Lombardi's grave, I will pee on that motherfucker. I hate that fucking mindset. Not that I don't like hitting people. And I was a big kid early on. As I said, we had growth spurt things. And I never did high school football. I did soccer, which was much better. And Yvonne Goolagong's husband was one of our 2 coaches, and Senor Pepe Cerrone was the other one. And that was back before soccer caught on, so I told them 79, so the rednecks don't know shit about it. And I just like, fuck off the football stuff. I hated it. They wouldn't let me play defensive linebacker, which is what I wanted to do. Because I said, well, why not just let me do what I want to do? It's a game. We're playing a fucking game. Well, you're needed here. You need to be center because you're the biggest. And I go, here's what I do. Take the ball. What? I can't do this. But not in practice, because practice would give you laps. I realized early on that no one would know how many games I lost for the team if I just hiked it wrong. And you only had to do 2 or 3 of those before you got pulled off. And then I got to sit down. And then they would punish me by not letting me do defense, which is only what I wanted to do. So, fine, I'm fine here. Give me something to drink. I hate this fucking game. I don't want to play. You're a bunch of idiots.
Did you get into any fights when you were a kid?
Oh, fuck yeah, I did. I was always on the point of getting thrown, especially when I was younger and before my growth spurt. I'm going to name names on this one. There's 2 kids, and I'm coming in, it's cold. And I don't like cold because I live in Hilton Head. And it's like this, and I got a hat, and I'm just throwing, if I can just get to the library, there's books there. And I don't have to fuck with these idiots that don't know what books are. And somebody grabs my fucking hat. Really? Really? Give him a damn hat. I see where this is going. Shall I just leave? No, my ears are cold. Please give me my hat. We're in the gym. I'm going to need that hat to get home. If I come home without the hat, I get punished. Might as well get punished for that as opposed to what I was going to get punished for anyway, because I was always punished, you know. So if I die in a Citizen Kane style, no, not Citizen Kane, no, Kwai Chang Kane, that's it, I get the Queen Kanes confused, masturbating and strangled in a hip with a midget beating me with a toothpick. Thanks, Mom! Thanks for the punishment! So I confused punishment with love, like you do. He throws it to Bob Gus. Now, Bob Gus is actually a year younger than me, but he got his growth spurt first. He's a head taller than me. I'm maybe, I don't know, 70, 80 pounds, something like that. I go up to him about halfway and I said, Bob, you're responsible for that hat. You better give it to me. I take 2 steps. He goes, he throws it. Pow! Sucker punch him. It takes 4 teachers to get me off of him. I think he went to the hospital for that one. I'm not sure because I was in a red rage and I said 4 full-size adults to pull me off. But otherwise, if they'd left my hat alone, library, where Scientific American, U.S. News World Report, Decline Fall of the Roman Empire are right there for me to do. But the thing is that by the time I'd gotten to 10th grade, I'd read all those books. Before the internet, I read everything. I had read half of them before I'd gotten to high school because I'd read the lower school library, like every book in the lower school library, and then they'd let me have trips. And then they said, no, Scott, you can only take 5 books at a time, not 15. Yeah. Well, I'll just have to make 3 trips. Well, you just go ahead and make 3 trips. Okay, make 3 trips.
Wow.
I read, you know, like that. I can't do that anymore. My eyes won't let me, but, you know, I can hardly read anymore.
So let's see if can you remember in Spo-its or just in going to see shows, what were some of the most like memorable nights, the most crazy shit that
Guar, our buddies, Mike Palmonte's covered this in his book. I read it, but I can't remember what the name it is. It's Please Kill Me was the big one. He did a Please Kill Me from North Carolina. I can't fucking remember the name of it. But Mike is not a friend of mine. We're not friends, but I don't know him. But we've been in the same room so many fucking times, and we know so many of the same people, and we've never met. How? He run the 4808 Club in Charlotte. I guess because he was just a smarmy asshole and wouldn't mix with the hoi polloi. But I was in there watching Guar, and they were doing this really great show where Onerous pulls out his dick, and it's like this Cthulhu thing, and you only really know it's a dick because it's in the proper position for a dick, and then he butt fucks a priest with it. Well, it turns out that in America, land of freedom, you just can't butt fuck a prophetic priest's ass and not get thrown in fucking prison. So if you're selling alcohol, so blah 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 blah, obscenity law, obscenity law, and this was like the cutting edge of that Tea Party crap that we're eating now. So, it started in fuck Charlotte under the punk rock years. They busted our venues. They were in there all the time. Harassment. They would pick us up on the streets. Not me, because I'm usually smarter than most people, but my friends. I'd be bailing people out every week, for nothing, just looking funny. And they wanted to close 4808 because they hated Mike. And so they found an excuse. Look, we put somebody in there, and they do the show, and we've seen the show, and see that thing they do there? That's illegal. We'll just wait till they do it. We'll bust them. We won't go there and say, hey, don't you know that's illegal? And no, we're gonna let them do it, even though they should probably be allowed to do it. Now, you can ask Jello Biafra about getting your rights. Your rights require a lawyer, 5 years of your fucking life, and all the money you have, or more. And then you still might go to jail for the rest of your fucking life. That's what we got rights here in this fucking country. And everybody folded on that one, including Guar. Guar just never played North Carolina again. It hasn't. I guess they started doing it again, but in a smaller way. But yeah, guys, Mobile Death Camp's really good. It's a Guar spinoff, and I've known like the Guars. They're always spinning off into like Log. The guy from Log was in Guar, and they played the gasoline-powered jazz festival, which was my show at Big Gas Cycles. It was not jazz at all. Had this thing, the Lee Trevino Trio, which was two people that played vacuum cleaners. And Punk's going, what the fuck is that? That's the Lee Trevino Trio. Where's the third one? Fuck you, the third one. That's the third one. Fuck you. I love the Lee Trevino Trio. Sick Dick and the Volkswagens. She's 16 and kinda cute. She's a teenage prostitute. I wish I had the whole lyrics of that and his number so I could cover that fucking song.
That's amazing. And what are some other shows that made an impression on you?
Shows that aren't mine?
Or your own.
My shows made quite an impression on me, Kevin, let me say. The Cramps. My God, what do you say? Lux Interior, a Performance, Buzz Oven. Back when they were a three-piece, stealing, heroin-induced band, they would come in, they would play some of the kick-ass music that you ever played, steal the club blind, the Snake, whatever was there, sell it for heroin, hit the next town, and then they weren't getting paid $1,500 a fucking show. And we would tour with them. Night. Free show. 3 blocks down. Which one are you going to go to? $15 show for somebody you never even heard of that might have been in the Velvet Underground and might be a Tea Party idiot right now? Or are you going to go see sex, drugs, violence, and mayhem, and King Spo-it just might fuck up a motherfucker? We're also known for playing without our show. Whereas people will ask us, I was at this one thing at Annie's, and it's in Columbia. Columbia was never a big town for us because, like, South Carolina is fucked. You're talking about a place of inbred retards, and yet I am one. He was like, "Do y'all set people on fire?" Well, we have done that. Yeah, but don't do that. Y'all like crap on people and pee on people. Well, we did have these girls, and no, don't do that. And it's just one thing after another not to do. And they didn't mention getting our drummer stinking drunk, which is what happened. They were feeding him beer. The bar was. Now, we know not to give him beer because he's a blackout alcoholic. In fact, Jim Kelly's going to come move in with me recently. He's gotten sober. And I'd fucked him off for a lot of years because he had fetal alcohol. Jim's a whole podcast in and of itself. Just a short story. Marine sniper, prison bouncer, mental health bouncer, drug dealer. Did I say that? No, I didn't say that. Anything a tough guy could do. Lost police officer, anything. Lost all the jobs drinking. Every single one of them. And he told a great story. He's forgotten it now because of the alcohol. About being up in a tree, in sniper practice in the suit, the invisible suit, and hearing, "Hey, Marine! You want liquor, whore?" And it's a mama son with a little truck with liquor, beer, ice, and 2 whores and condoms. And so he climbs on his sniper thing, climbs down the tree. For some reason, he's got money on him, buys a bottle of liquor, a thing of wine, and a whore. And his instructor finds him at the bottom of the tree, drunk, passed out. Boot! No more Marine sniper. But he was PTSD too. His dad was a Marine, a big old Marine, and beat the fucking hell out of him every fucking day of his life. And that's why he's the way he is. And he was my drinking buddy. And he's the only guy I know that I'm not sure how the fight goes. Well, it's Big Andy. I know I take him because he's a pussy. But I seen Jim Kelly. Well, actually, I've beaten Jim Kelly a couple of times. But I use my brains. I don't get anywhere close to him. As one time, he's drunk, and we're supposed to go on tour. And he's gotten his just barely 18-year-old girlfriend, who is a lovely little Nazi girl. Jim was a bit of a Nazi. Not the guy. He didn't kill any Jews. All right. Again, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I have a lot of Jewish friends against the Holocaust. I say it's a bad idea. All right. But that's not going to get me fucked off, is it? Like we're not breaking any ground here.
No.
But I do know a lot of people whose first name is Nazi, like Nazi Joe. Who's the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. 6 foot tall in Mohawk, he's cooked, and has swastikas all over himself. Fuck him. I don't know why. I don't judge people, is what I'm saying. So it's funny because Kevin, my Jewish buddy that used to do shows with me, Jim loves him. Jim, nominally a Nazi, I guess. I mean, whatever, and loves Kevin. For whatever fucking reason. Kevin thought that he would be disliked because of the whole Jew thing. And now he's my only Jew friend! So really it's more about the person than the label. So, where was I going? PTSD and drinking. We would go to this place called The Gallery. And they did 2 kinds of shows. They did punk rock shows and they did shows that sucked. And Jim and I, that was our living room. And when they would put on one of those shows that sucked with hippie bands, watch out. Because my favorite tactic was that the hippies would get... All you gotta do to keep the hippies from playing is to throw them out of your fucking bar. Then they don't get to play anymore. So the band would set up. Now musicians are musicians, they get a pass. But the hippies that came to see them, my favorite tactic was to table dive. You wait till they all order their drinks, then you take a running start and you dive through their table. The most fun thing you can do. It's like a slip and slide. And I had this thing that I do with it, and I would throw the table, I would do a roll, up, and fight! Except nobody would fight me. They would just all, hey man, that's not good, we're gonna leave now. Out of my fucking bar. And then they would start playing, and we'd start throwing things at the band. If it was a jam band or anything. If it sucked, we would fuck them off. And Kimmy, the little girl that ran it, she might or might not have been dealing heroin out of the bar. I don't know. That's what I heard and saw. But the Koreans ran those bars down there, and they did not make any money on the alcohol. And why they would let punk rockers play there, I guess it's just to fuck the cops off. I don't know. This one time we played there, it was usually the Wingmen, which was a motorcycle gang, my friends, versus the Rangers, who at that time there was no war on. And when there's no war on, when there's a war on, the military has better things to do than fuck up bars. When there's not a war on, you got a lot of men that join this hairpuck shit to prove themselves, and there's nowhere to prove themselves. So they're just the little boys they were when they were home, except they're punked. And they come out to the punk bars, because some of them are from California, and they might start a little trouble. And the Wingmen, they don't take shit, and neither do I. And one particular anti-scene show, somebody might have picked up the top of a toilet and busted it over a ranger's head, and that person might have ran out without anybody ever finding out, wondering if there was a murder involved, and then watching the police reports to, nope, just hospital. I don't know who that person was. I really don't. Shit. Oh, the whole crowd got maced that night. Kimmy maced the entire place. She would do that on occasion. Mace for everybody. That's Savannah in the 90s.
Wow.
That's the dirty South. That's the fucking scumfucks. We were a crowd, and Spo-its, I would say, rose organically out of what the fuck was going on. Let me do this, because this my camera sucks. It's Sony.
We're talking about Savannah.
Savannah.
Back in the day.
Back before the art school ruined it. We were the murder capital of the world in 1979. I saw Leonard Skinner 2 shows before they died, high on poppers. Savannah was death. The white folks had moved the heck out of downtown. If you didn't go to any place but River Street, if you were adventurous, Bay Street, and if you went to the Civic Center, you parked in the Civic Center lot, and you paid somebody to watch your fucking car while you went in. And people would would not take suitcases out of their car, because if they did, their apartments would be busted. It was like Detroit. Heroin all over. My dad shot and killed a man in our yard during the Civil Rights Days, a black gentleman that was trying to break in. Dad came out and fired and killed that guy. And that's Savannah. That's the good old days. Now it sucks. It used to be there were strip clubs on everything. The sailors came in. You could get in a fight with 5 different kinds of people. They would serve anybody that had money that could put it on top of the counter. That back in the old days, it was 18 to drink. South Carolina was 18 beer, 21 liquor. Savannah, it was 18, anything. So we Hilton Head boys would drive, 18-year-old Hilton Head boys would drive an hour to get liquored up and drive home. Thank you, South Carolina. How many times I almost died after going down to Spanky's on River Spanky's and just drinking so much vodka and grapefruit juice, and then deciding I need to go home.
And so there was a real music scene there.
A huge music scene in the 90s. It's died because the venues have died. It used to be that there was a band called Spo-its, of course, and there was the Stretch Marks, and there's GAM. The GAM was like the face to our heel, and the lead singer is a good friend of mine, but Kevin, the guitar player, bit me one time over a piece of musical criticism I gave him. Now, I don't know why he'd bite me. He's only
So how do you feel about where you're at? It seems like a lot of that scene, a lot of that music scene is kind of
gone,
a thing of the past.
Yeah, the band stopped playing in 2000. I mean, it didn't stop. I mean, we did the White Trash Luau in 2002. We came out of retirement I didn't say retirement. I would book shows, and I would just book fewer shows. And that was the time when architecture was go-go, and I was doing McMansion after McMansion and just piling the money away. Money's gone now, because of course money is a lie. And money comes and goes. Never sell your life for money.
Yeah.
Never sell your fucking life for money. I thought my music wasn't relevant anymore, and I just said, well, I had a nice thing. Let's just go see the world. Let's go. I took my sketchbook and I went to Thailand. I'd love to give you a sketch. I don't have one with me, but I'd love to give you one of my nudes or something else I do. I paint. And I just started doing more of that. And I had a fiance, and she was not a fan of the band. She was a concert violinist and was raised under the Cultural Revolution. Not ABC. You know what she calls the Taiwanese, the cook that comes in speaks no English to work 16 hours a day for minimum wage, like Georgia. Oh, rich bitches! Oh, Taiwanese are rich bitches! The guy's like, yeah. And she went to violin torture school. and I don't know this for sure, but I'm sure there's a pile of dead violinists out back, that didn't make it through the training. Her mom was a landlord, and her dad was beaten to death by the Red Guard on the way to his job guarding the factory gate, and he's was the head of the factory at one time. But 6 kids, I mean, they were kids. The Red Guard were all the worst Clockwork Orange teenagers ever. Beat the living fucking hell out of him with sticks, dead. Her mom, who is queen bitch of all bitches, did make sure she had 1 egg every day, no matter what. That was rich, to have a whole egg. Ying said she lived in, and I'm sorry for the ching chong ding dong, but Like I do a dead-on impersonation of her because I've lived with her for. We live in a house for cows, and when it rained, it got very wet. And after the Gang of Four, they were given some of their property back, and Ying went to school at 8, which meant she never become a classical violinist prodigy because you got to start at 6. Her brother, 22, started school, and then went straight A's, and now he's a stinking rich real estate mogul in China, and. It's just, they weren't going to school. They weren't at school. They were at home. But after her dad was beaten to death, her mom married some poor schmuck, another landlord, because no one else would marry into him, and I guess just for his crappy pay. And she bitched him out every fucking day of his life. And when she moved in with me, it was great for a year, and then she started acting like her mom. And all I wanted her to do was stop. All I wanted her to do was enjoy her fucking life. I mean, sure, you're never going to be a prodigy violin player. Come play with my band. I'm on top. You're a dirty band with that dirty, stupid people. You only play one note. You only know one fucking song. You play it all the time. That's a great song. Oh, shut up! It's not a great song. It's a stupid song. First thing I did when we were going out, not first thing. I got tablature for the Sex Pistols songs, and I was like, well, why don't you play violin with this, play these songs, and she starts picking it. I'm like, no, play it, don't pick it. And she's like, what? But it says to pick it. That's how blinkered her training was, it was, and I got Ornette Coleman, it was the same thing, pick it, not play it, So I can't teach her real music. I can't teach her fuck off music, and she has no sense of humor about anything. And 3 years we're done. I still talk to her, but
But you're still having fun.
I have fun. King Spo-it has fun because I don't do anything I don't want to do. Oh, I got to tell you my fuck off story for the corporations. Kids, you don't need a fucking record label. Listen to King Spo-it. Don't sign anything. Just when they come to your show, stab them in the face. That'll make you. Oh, I got my REM story too. Oh gosh, that's a good one. Early Spo-its Day story. But I'll do this one first. We do it quickly. They put the seven record contract in front of me. Just signed $250,000 first record. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Who did?
John Paul Jones. I'm not saying.
Oh, all right.
John Paul Jones is going to produce. Same guy that fucked up the Butthole Surfers record, Electric Larryland, and fucked it up. Jeff Pincus is the only one I know in the band, the bass player, and he's in Honky. Honky is great. It's better than Butthole Surfers ever were. They're out of Austin. They play all over the fucking place, and they rock. He also did Daddy Longhead, which was a 70s rock band that he did. And that was great, but nobody would pay to see it. So anyway, I was like, no. Because my buddies Fetch and Bones signed one of those at Capitol. And in one album in, they did a bunch of MTV stuff. They were on 120 Minutes. And all of a sudden, they can't play under their own name anymore. It's not 7 records. It's 7 records. We decided to do 7 records. Otherwise, you're fucked. And then they start talking about radio. I don't give a fuck about radio. I'm like, we don't have that big. We don't have the Butthole Surfers thing. We don't sell 30,000 records. We sell 3,000 records. And I'm like, well, and I'm talking to him, so I know. And he's like, hey, buddy. And now the spiky hair, the 90s douchebag thing. And the great thing was the breakthrough when they stopped talking like that and started talking like human beings. And then it was the knives were out. All right, so fucker, what the fuck you want? I said, I want the same deal as Sonic Youth. 1 record a year. Pay me $50,000. I deliver it. You either put it out or I own it. 1 a year, 7 years. I'll sign 20. I don't care. I don't fucking care. $50,000. I did 2 records. I did $3,000 a piece on 2 records. I got fucking Robert Williams to come in and play drums on my fucking record for nothing because he loved me. And don't believe I couldn't do that again. Now, if I had the whole band there, I know there would be people, we'll be rich! $250,000, that's just slavery. it'll cost you that. They will make you spend that much money on it. They're not paying you that. That's your budget for your record, and you will be a hot dog salesman after that if you don't fucking sell. And I know plenty of people, like guys from Fear Factory. They have bartending jobs. You know, because music pays shit. Because, you know, in the '90s, I don't know if you saw the '90s documentary. The one thing they say about the '90s, and I was part of this movement, artist rights. We need music rights the way the motion pictures have SAG. And we need to get the kids into it, and we need to get everybody into it, and we need to get back in the back catalog. That's never going to happen because the movie industry has already got their thing in place. And there are too many kids that'll play anywhere for nothing, and I'm one of them. But if we were a movement together, we could change some shit. I mean, at least at the larger level, change the way contracts are done anyway. But that's the end of that thing. They refused. They said, one radio hit. All right, I'll make you a deal. Those records you have, $50,000 to you. You put whatever budget you want to in on your record, your song. I get 50% of the songwriting credit on it. You do whatever the fuck you want with the other 50%. Producers, whatever. I never go near it. You put it out there. I sing whatever the fuck you sing. Mary Had a Little Fucking Lamb. I don't care. Whatever you want me to sing. I don't write it. You write it, put it in front of me. I get the writing credit on it because I want the money, of course. You put it on my fucking record. I'll label it anything you want. I won't even say fuck off track from the fucking idiots. I'll just put it in there. You sell it to the fucking radio if you can. But what if we put 2? I won't do 2 per record. But we'll do 2 records. I'll do 2 records a year if you want to. I'll do 10 records a year because I can do 10 records a year if I have, you know, do nothing else and don't sleep, which I like to do. And I get my movie going on. I got, you know, everything out. Everything but sleep. That's all I do. Sleep is highly overrated, but I'm going to get some of it right after this podcast. I'm going to go. I'm going to go take off, and I'm going to head to Blumpkin, South Carolina.
Well, maybe you get your first Blumpkin there.
I will. Well, I mean, I've not for lack of asking. Not beautiful. You saw the painting I did behind Christine Levine.
Uh-huh.
I think she's a big woman. I think she's beautiful as fuck. I would paint 1,000 paintings of her, and she's turned down all my sexual advances, and there were a lot of them. But mostly in the variety, you know. But, yeah, maybe we could work. Yeah, no, I got enough men already, King Spo-it, fuck you. It's just my new best friend, and she really helped me through the movie shoot. I mean, not a lot of people that can go through a few days of me crazy doing a movie.
What's the movie called again?
It is Journey to the Alexanderplatz. 3 books that nobody's ever read. One is, well, I guess people have read them. I've read them. Journey to the West, 10 volumes of Chinese literature about the Monkey King, Son Goku, and his adventures. He meets Oolong, the magical shape-shifting pig, and several others. He whacks them up, and then they become his allies, and then they go on and on. And for those parts, Oolong is played by Elvis Chicken, one of my favorite guys, Tom Bruner, Tommy Mushroom. He was in a band called IBS, and when they lost their, it's not the IBS, it's interracial Brady shit. That's harsh! Interracial Brady shit, shove it up your ass! and they did the original Clown and Chicken band. They would have, that Bruner, during his like retarded no music period, worked at the chicken plant. And he would take chickens, not the kind you can keep as pets, the kind of genetic monstrosities that die after a year. And he didn't know. He'd pet them and love them, and they'd die. He'd paint them green, and because they're meant to die. I mean, they grow for a year, and their meat they suffocate in their muscles, you know. So that's Tommy. He's the crappy clown, the cracked out clown. Crappy and I, when we go on tour, we always go to one corner and we talk philosophy. And his line to me is, Scott, you got a lot of talent there. Why don't you use some of it? I love Crappy. Crappy's like 60-something now. He came in for the movie and just knocked it out of the park. We were shooting in downtown Savannah. I got in a little trouble with the Savannah Film Board Because evidently, do you know what a helicopter is? Well, it wasn't the Twilight Zone, but it was pretty close. I have to know that the people that are going to win my movie can't be dissuaded from being in it. I got to have hell yeah people, because I'm going to ask you to fuck off. I don't care what your limits are. If your limit is that you'll only work on Thursday fully clothed up to your eyeballs, and yet you give me something I want, you're there. But you've got to be okay with the guy right next to you that's masturbating on top of the burning accordion, all right? So I was talking to this woman, and she will remain unnamed because I've destroyed her audition footage. And the other thing about auditions, actors, they're competitive. And I asked her what she would do. What she would say, I'll get topless. Let's see it. Here? Well, yeah, on set with 30 people, I'm going to ask you that question. You're going to go, I don't want to. Can I have another part? And somebody else that would have done your part is not there. Now, I've hung my dick out for a lot of years. I have no problem with total nudity. Our girl, Jenny, the grinder girl, she grew up in a nudist colony in Lutz, Florida, and we would stay there. Matter of fact, Dino Sex, the Murder Junkies, famously went there with us, and first thing he did, take off all his clothes, start masturbating. Anybody got some lube? And then he went out looking for naked people at 3 in the morning. And you got to think of nudist colony. You've been to nudist colonies. It's ugly old people, right? It's bring your napkin to the bar and let's all be swingers because we're about to die. You know, whatever. And of course they have to have a minder with him because he gets a little silly. So you have to have somebody to grab him by nothing, his hair, I guess, and drag him back to the place because he'll just wander around looking in naked people's houses and masturbating. and so, like, I have no problem with anything, and my sensibilities and judgment. Now, I didn't tell anybody what I was going to do. I just did it, and I did a stunt that should have. Convinced her. Well, I was asking her, said, well, how about if somebody gets crapped on right next to you, would you do it? Oh, sure. And everything she was saying yes, but she's redhead, she's turning beet red. I mean, just, and I'm like, you don't want to be in this movie? Yes, I do. You do not want to. You're gorgeous. I will use you. You get long red hair. I will use you. Obviously, you know, sort of an actor, and obviously a real person and a good person, because you can tell that. I only deal with good person. My booking agency is nice guys only, and I only deal with nice guys. If I find a venue that's got an asshole running it, you add on the asshole tax to everything we do there. And I got one, Chapel Hill Underground, fuck you asshole, fucking off a new venue. Get this, I'm all the way up from where the fuck ever, right? We're supposed to do a show. Shithead Brady cancels the show because there aren't enough people there. I'm selling merch, man. The bands are there. There are 3 bands playing after us. So I asked the owner, can I go for 5 minutes? He says yes. I've been making friends with the band. I just want to do my 5 minutes, sell a couple of shirts, you know, me and Hitler fucking your mom, or, you know, me setting the clown on fire, you know, comedy's dead, let's fuck it. Just sell a couple of shirts. And then my shirts, I print them 100 at a time and I never reprint, never repeat myself. All my own artwork. So I'm planning to sell a few shirts, because I always do. And that's the money that's getting me back home, because I've got my phone bill in my pocket, because I go without a net. And I got to earn some fucking money right now. And then the owner has a think on it. Well, my stage is too good for you to come on and do 5 minutes. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine what kind of a bleeding fucking asshole would say something like that? So I get up in his fucking face. But that's not enough, because his place, now, get this, you can throw me out of your place, that's fine. I get to call you an asshole. I go out through the fucking band, and I just say, this motherfucking asshole won't give me 5 motherfucking minutes in his precious motherfucking stage. Now, he's an Asian gentleman, and I really am not down with the racism, and not just fighting the ching chong ding dong in my fucking head. I got to find something else to call him. So everything in the fucking book. I'm calling him, and I'm go ahead. But then I forgot these are bands here. They got to play Savannah, so I go and grab my King Spo-it cards. I'm in Savannah Metal Punks, sort of emeritus member. I don't really do any work. I mostly just fuck everybody off and hey, why don't you put this guy on? You know, that kind of thing. As long as I don't do too much work, because I'm busy. So I hand them all out and said, I can get you a booking in Savannah, which I can. And you won't get paid, but you don't get paid anywhere, so you're fucking banned. So then I'm saying, yeah, well, I can't do my fucking 5 minutes. So they follow me back to the car. Some people want shirts. And so there's like 12 people there, more than's in assholes fucking bar shooting pool on Memorial Day. Well, there's no, we got to compete with Memorial Day. Well, nobody competes with Memorial Day unless, you know, you have advertising and a built-in crowd and all. So I say, hey, you want to see my 5 minutes? I do 45 minutes. Everybody's loving it. I go into Napoleon. I go into fucking Alexander the Great. You want to hear my Alexander the Great daddy issues story?
Sure.
All right, it's not a story, it's a joke. I like to do traditional joke forms. Why did Alexander the Great cross the road?
I don't like it.
Conquer the fucking world because his daddy didn't love him. True story. Dad, divorced mom, married a 14-year-old, had a baby, named that baby the new king. Won't say Alexander overreacted, but there was a round of murder. Maybe you should have taken your kid off the army before you fucked him, you know. Except the kid had the army behind him, and when Daddy got a little drunk, Daddy got a little murdered, and then everybody that supported Daddy got murdered, and then your daddy's bitch wife. That's what men do. We murder each other. Now it'd be a Twitter fight. Hashtag Dad, she's 14. Hashtag Daddy's getting some.
All right, awesome. Well,
You done with me, man?
Yeah, I can't wait for the movie. I think it's going to be awesome.
Well, it's Christine Levine and